You already know something is wrong. You've known for a while now, maybe months, maybe years. You feel it in the morning when the alarm goes off, and instead of getting up, you just lie there, staring at the ceiling, waiting for some feeling, any feeling, that today might be different. And then it isn't. And then you reach for your phone, and the day begins swallowing you before you even stood up. That's not laziness. That's not a character flaw. That's what happens when you've been living on autopilot for so long that you've forgotten you were ever the one flying the plane. So, let me ask you something, and I want you to actually sit with it, not scroll past it, not file it away under things to think about later. Actually sit with it. When did you stop taking yourself seriously? Not your job, not your relationships, not the version of you that shows up to do the things that need doing. I mean you, the one with the thing you used to want, the one who had a thought once, an idea, a direction that felt like yours. When did you stop treating that person like they mattered? Because somewhere along the way, you made a deal. You told yourself you'd get to it. When things settled down, when you had more money, more time, more certainty, when you figured out the right way to start, and life, being life, made sure things never quite settled, and you kept waiting, and the waiting became the habit, and the habit became the identity. And now, you're here, watching this video, which means some part of you still remembers that there was supposed to be more than this. That part is right. Here's what nobody tells you about the life you keep putting off. It doesn't wait. Not because the universe is cruel, but because time is the one thing that doesn't negotiate. Every single day that passes is a day that cannot be returned. And you know this. Of course you know this. But knowing something and feeling it are two completely different things. Most people know. Very few people feel it in their bones at 2 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. When they're sitting in a meeting about a meeting, that's when it has to hit. That's when it should feel like cold water. You're spending your life, right now, continuously. The question isn't whether you're spending it. The question is what you're buying. And I think if you're honest, really honest, the answer lately has been not much. Not because you're broken, not because you're behind, but because you've been numbing something instead of facing it. And numbing is easy. Numbing is available 24 hours a day in 10,000 forms, all of them designed specifically to make you feel okay about not doing the thing. The scroll, the next episode, the food you eat not because you're hungry, but because your chest feels tight and you don't know what else to do with that. The conversation you put off, the email you haven't sent, the version of your life that lives just slightly out of frame. You can almost see it, but looking directly at it feels like it might hurt. It might. That's honest. But here's what's also honest. The version of you that never looked, that version hurts worse. That version wakes up one day, and this day always comes always, and does the math. And the math is brutal. I don't say that to scare you. I say it because scared is useful when it's aimed at the right thing. You should not be scared of starting. You should be terrified of continuing to not start. The thing about waking up, actually waking up, not just opening your eyes, is that it doesn't happen from the outside. Nobody comes, no alarm sounds that finally works, no sign arrives. You can wait for it if you want. A lot of people wait for it. You've probably been waiting for it. Some external event that justifies the shift, a health scare, a job loss, a relationship that ends badly. People say those things woke them up, and they did. But only because those events stripped away the comfort that made sleep possible. The comfort isn't real. The comfort is just distance between you and the truth you already know. You don't need to lose everything to see clearly. You can choose to see clearly right now, right here, in this moment that is ordinary in every way except that you're actually paying attention. Look at your life as it actually is, not the story you tell about it, not the version that makes sense at dinner parties or sounds reasonable when someone asks how things are going. The actual texture of your actual days. What do they feel like? What do you feel when Sunday night comes? What do you feel when you imagine doing exactly this, for another 5 years? If that image doesn't disturb you, you can stop watching. But it disturbed you. That's why you're here. You are not too late. I want to be clear about that because that voice, the one that says you've missed your window, that the good stuff was back there, that you've made too many wrong turns to find your way to something real. That voice is lying to you, not trying to protect you, not being realistic, lying. The people who built meaningful lives did not build them from perfect starting positions. They built them from exactly the kind of mess you're standing in right now. From exactly this amount of confusion, this amount of fear, this amount of, I don't know where to begin. They just stopped waiting for the fear to leave before they moved. Because here is the thing about fear and clarity and readiness and all the conditions you keep waiting to meet before you'll let yourself try. They don't precede the move. They follow it. You do not figure it out and then begin. You begin and then slowly, messily, imperfectly, you start to figure it out. Readiness is not a threshold you cross. It's a feeling that grows in the doing. You will never feel ready. You are waiting for something that only exists on the other side of starting. So what is it? What is the thing? You know what it is. You don't need me to tell you. It's been in the back of your mind this entire video. Maybe it's the business. Maybe it's leaving. Maybe it's going back. Maybe it's the conversation you've been avoiding for 2 years. Maybe it's the version of your body you keep promising yourself. Maybe it's the creative thing you haven't touched since you were young enough to not be embarrassed by trying. Maybe it's something simpler and more fundamental. Just showing up to your own life with your full attention instead of a fraction of yourself. Whatever it is, you know. And knowing without moving is its own kind of pain. A slow one. A quiet one. The kind that doesn't announce itself loudly. It just sits in you, making everything taste a little flat, making the good moments feel slightly muted, making success feel hollow when you achieve it because you achieved it while leaving the real thing untouched. You know that feeling. You've had it. That feeling is information. It's your life talking to you. It has been talking to you for a long time. This video is just the moment you're actually listening. So here is what I want you to do. Not tomorrow, not after you've thought about it more, not once you've made a plan. Right now, after this ends, do one thing, not the whole thing. One true move in the direction of the life that is actually yours. Send the message, write the first paragraph, make the call, book the appointment, say the honest thing out loud. Take the small, unglamorous, real step that you've been substituting with thinking about taking the step. One thing, today. Not because it will fix everything, not because one step transforms a life, but because the version of you that takes that step is different from this version of you that didn't, even by a degree. And degrees compound, and somewhere down the line, not so far as you think, you look back and you see the exact moment things actually change. It wasn't a miracle. It wasn't a sign. It was a Tuesday afternoon when you were tired and scared and uncertain, and you did it anyway. That's the story you want to be able to tell. And the only way to tell it is to be in it. Right now. This is your wake-up call, not the last one life will offer, but the one you chose to hear. What you do next is entirely up to you.